Hello, everybody. Hey, I'm in my barn today because it's kind of gnarly outside. So I decided to sit in here where, it's a little bit cozier. Still chilly and cold and damp. But at the same time, you know what today is, don't you? Everybody knows what today is. Today's January the 5th. No. Yeah, it is. But it's also Testy Tuesday. Testy Tuesday, I'm going to give you a test on Jesus being baptized by John the Baptizer. Yep. Only I'm going to focus on John the Baptizer for the test. Are you ready? I want you to tell me what John the Baptizer was eating while he was out there doing his baptizing. All right, I'm going to give you 4 choices here. Number 1, he was eating manna and drinking wine. Number 2, he was eating locusts and honey. Number 3, he was drinking lamb's milk and eating beans. And number 4, he was loading up on pizza and wings. Come on, you know the answer to this. Pizza and wings. It's that time of year. No, it's not. Well, actually, it's always the time of year for pizza and wings. But that's not what John was eating. The scripture says he was eating the locusts and honey. Locusts and honey. No wonder people thought he was rather odd and strange. Who goes around eating locusts and honey? Well, John the Baptizer does. John was out doing his thing. And Mark says all of a sudden out of nowhere appears Jesus, who is baptized by John in the Jordan River. And as he comes up, let me read it. It's just very short and brief. In those days, Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in the Jordan. And just as he was coming up out of the water, he saw the heavens torn apart and the Spirit descending like a dove on him. And a voice came from heaven, "You are my Son, the beloved. With you I am well pleased." Now, that's only a part of the total text that we have coming up for this Sunday. But you're going to notice, and I want you to keep it in mind too, as we go through the year of Mark, and we have passage after passage that comes from the Gospel of Mark for some of our readings, you're going to hear some of these themes from this Sunday's reading come through time and time again. You're going to see that theme of the voice. No, not the TV show, The Voice. No, the voice that comes from heaven. Well, actually, it shows up in a couple ways in our text this week. The voice of one crying out in the wilderness, John the Baptizer, straight from Isaiah. Then we have the voice that did come down out of heaven that said, "You are my beloved." We'll see that same voice coming up later on at the Transfiguration, that time when Jesus took Peter, James, and John up on the mountaintop, and he showed them his coming glory. All right, so you have the voice. You have this whole theme of the wilderness. Where does the wilderness come into Jesus' life? All over the place. Everything happens in the wilderness. John's out here baptizing in the wilderness. That's where Jesus is baptized. And then Jesus is thrown out into the wilderness for the temptations. And it's time and time again things are happening out there in the wilderness. Very, very important through the Gospel of Mark. Oh, you have the heavens. The heavens were torn apart at his baptism. You're going to see that pop up again at his crucifixion, where now it's not the heavens being torn apart, it's the temple curtain from top to bottom is torn apart. And this is one of 3 places in the Gospel of John where you're going to see Jesus being called God's Son. Here, at the Transfiguration event, and then also at the crucifixion. So, this is a great way to start out the Gospel of Mark. We already had a little hint of it back there in Advent when we read from the very first verse, the beginning of the good news of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And the beginning was John the Baptizer out there baptizing. Now we move into Jesus' baptism, and we kind of cut it off right there, and we hold off on the temptation text until Lent. A good place to put it, because we're talking about our need to be strong, our need to be repentive, and just the fact that we too go through temptations just like Jesus did. All right. Good job on that Testy Tuesday quiz. I think most of you got it, locusts and honey. And for those of you who said pizza and wings, just let me know when you're ordering them, and I'll be right over. Mild, please. I don't like them real hot. And I don't put any dressing. Go ahead and get your blue cheese if you want. And if you like ranch, I'm not getting into that argument. Blue cheese ranch, blue cheese ranch. I don't eat either one. I just have mine plain. God's blessings be with you, and we'll see you all later.